Yo, welcome back to the Audio Theory Podcast. If you're new to the channel, please hit the like button as well as the subscribe button. What's good, Danny? How have you been?
I've been good, dude. Well rested. Officially August, so new month for everyone. So hope everyone has a blessed August, including you, my dude. But dude, great, man. I started the month off by taking Thursday off. So like the first time I take like a day off during the week from work that wasn't like, hey, I need to go travel somewhere. It was just like, bro, I want to have a day where like me and my girl can just chill, not even run errands, bro. It was like we played pickleball in the morning. We had a good workout right afterwards. We went to the beach for drinks and like to get in the water. And then we went to like a fire happy hour. You know what I mean? So like it was just like a really fun, active day, like we would have done on vacation, but we were home. So like it was dope, bro. Like I feel like I need to start taking more like personal days just for the fuck of it and not feel like obligated. Like, well, if it's not really for a PTO, like going somewhere, I don't want to do it. Cause that's, I feel like we all like innately feel guilty for doing shit like that. And it's like, bro, I don't give a fuck, bro. Like, yeah, take the day.
No, that's super dope. What triggered that? Like, was it burnout or this was just something that you thought would be a cool thing to try out, or?
Bro, so initially, and not to pat myself on the back, but initially it was just for the fuck of it. I was like, bro, I think we spoke about it in the pod, like, bro, just like maybe not so much in August now because I do see like the sun's coming out a little bit later here, so the days don't feel as long. But dude, in July, the days just felt forever, dog. Like I'm waking up at 5:45 to go to the gym. The sun's already fucking out by 6. The sun's not going down till like 8:30 now. So I'm just like, dog. And I'm like, this can't be my routine. You know, like it just like, where's the fun, bro? Then I see myself like, I don't know if you ever do this, like, or I know you take off like social media during the week, but like, bro, I see myself like on TikTok later now because I'm just trying to like almost like grab hours back in the day to like, at least I did this for myself. And I'm like, all right, bro, but now you're going to bed at midnight and you got to be up at 5:45. So like, who really won in this situation? So yeah. So initially it was just for the fuck of it, but then it just so happened my girl was going to be traveling for work and then immediately traveling for a bachelorette. So it was like the only time we had it, we wanted to make the most of it. So like it worked out coincidentally in our favor in a big way. So yeah, we made the most of it. Happy hour was fire. Weather was fire, and bro, I've only played pickleball 5 times, but I'm already thinking about going pro. So it's all it's been pretty fun over here, bro. How about yourself? How are things on your end?
Weekend was cool. There were a lot of outings.
Yeah, you got lit Friday, right?
Yeah, I got lit Friday. And Saturday we took it a little more easy, but we went to my wife and I went to Dave and Buster's.
Oh, bro, dope.
It's like across the street. And I was like, there's no reason we've lived here in this particular apartment for
a little bit
almost
over
a year now.
Yeah.
And I've been once with a friend, but she's never been to that location. So we went, played some arcade games, Guitar Hero in particular, which was
nice,
new for her, but really fun for the both of us. And then Sunday, did a fitness class. I don't know if you have, I'm sure there is because it's a franchise, but Barry's, have you heard of it?
It's like, dude, I don't think we have. Yeah, I've heard of it. I feel like that's definitely more of a West Coast thing though. I don't think we have any down here.
Gotcha.
But I know that's like a thing. I know like either like usually it's like the woman's, like the wife is a member and like the husband or boyfriend comes like for like a class here and there, right?
Yeah. I would say, yeah, definitely the female demographic loves those like fitness hybrid music, like jam out exercise classes. And I had done it in LA when I was there, but our friend group now is like trying to encourage all of us to go, so we do it more regularly.
Nice.
So I did that and then played some ball afterwards, which was dope. It was funny because we could see the clear decline. We were playing a game of 21 amongst the 3 of us, and like in the beginning, like I'm doing all kinds of like fadeaway threes and shit. I'm like, damn, I should be doing this more regularly.
Yeah.
Like my talent declined significantly as time went on. Like I couldn't make a single shot by the end of the day. So that was interesting, but overall really productive and fun weekend. But I need a break for sure.
I feel, dude, so the Barry's thing though, so what does the class consist of? Is it like like weight training with like a bunch of like calisthenics in between? Like, what does a normal Barry class look like?
It's basically like intervals. One interval of treadmill for like 15 minutes. Then you do strength training. So like you just swap from the floor to the treadmill or vice versa, depending which side you started on. And then you basically do treadmill twice and strength training twice, and that's the full class.
Got it.
So yeah, nothing too crazy or unfamiliar. Um, but I think having trained for the half marathon, like the treadmill portion of it's super easy and not even necessarily something I feel good paying for. But the strength training is cool because it's a lot of like random ass exercises I would never do on my own. Like,
Yeah.
I only do like push-ups and like super basic shit, whereas you're doing mountain climbers and all kinds of stuff. So and they're blasting really good music if the trainer has good music taste. So that's another dope element.
Nice. And then so going back to your Friday night, what did because I know when I texted you early in the morning that Vultures drop, and we're obviously gonna get to that in a second. You responded like quick, and I'm like, bro, is it like 4 a.m? Like what's happening?
Yeah.
So what did your Friday night consist of? Because I feel like we still have those nights where you and I stay up late, but it's not the same as it was when we were like 25. So like what is like as a 30, you're 33 and a half?
No, 34.
34. So as a 34-year-old, what is your like what are your Friday night of getting lit consist of right now?
So this night in particular started off with drinks at dinner. So it was like a belated birthday thing for my boy Moon and my wife, just the three of us. His wife's out of town. So like, fuck it, let's all just meet up and eat at this one Korean, it's like a Korean bar spot that serves good food and soju and whatnot. So we started off there. Didn't really have a plan for afterwards. We just typically play it by ear. But it was probably like 8. No, it was like 9-ish. And I was like, let's check out a new spot that we've never been to. Cause nowadays I like showing up to the club early. Like being one of the first few people there, so I don't have to deal with.
And by
lines.
club, do you mean club or do you mean bar?
This was an actual club.
Oh, okay.
And then my wife was also kind of like scoping out birthday locations and everything. I was like, it was really fun when we had gone to a club early before. Like it was a new thing for us, especially being older. But we realized we much preferred it. So I'm like, let's try out this new spot. We get there 5 minutes before opening, and the bouncer's like, yo, he's like, the bartender like just got here. You guys are gonna have to wait. He didn't even pat us down or anything. He's probably
like bro, if you want to help cleaning, like this is like
yeah. So we get in. It's cool. We're just having drinks, but I'm the one who's like trying to encourage the group to have a water every other drink to keep the night going, because the last thing I want to do is spend all this money and then I feel sick or like forget half the night. And that was essentially the key to keep the night going. So we left that spot. Again, we're gonna head to the one bar that my boy and I typically go to, but on the way there we heard music playing from a new spot, and I was trying to keep the theme going of like, let's go try something new.
Yeah.
Go there. Super dope. It has like three separate dance floors essentially. It's 2 stories, but the first floor is one, second floor is another, and then the outside area is another. And the outside area is like the old head area because they were playing like Michael Jackson and shit, which was fun. Actually, I think I prefer that area over the others. The others played hip hop and everything.
But I think was it like something with like the hip hop one, like if it's gonna be hip hop, you're like forced to judge it if it's not like what you like. Whereas like if it's like the old head stuff, you're like, all right, bro, I never listened to this shit anyway, so like I don't mind, because that's how I am when I go out. Like if it's gonna be hip hop, it needs to be good. Otherwise, we need to leave, kind of a thing.
Yeah, I mean it was good hip hop, but I think the old head areas are like more happy-go-lucky and like everyone's actually trying to dance and not mean mugging and shit. There was a guy actually at the bar. He was trying to press me because me and my boy were at the bar, and this girl was next to me at the bar, and I think I was like, my boy wasn't sure like what he wanted to drink, and I think I like pointed at her drink and was gonna ask like what it was or something, and literally 5 seconds. Mind you, this bitch is like 300 pounds, so like not even remotely trying to like show interest. And her boyfriend comes out of nowhere, starts mentioning like Norteño gang, like which is the Mexican gang up here, goes on a whole script for like 15 seconds reciting every fucking block he's from and shit. And I'm just standing there like waiting for him to fucking finish because his script is so goddamn long. And then I was basically telling him like, yo, chill out. Like I wasn't even trying to talk to her. I was like, do you want a beer or something? Like what's wrong with you essentially? Oh, and then my boy's laughing in the background too because he knows for a fact we weren't flirting with her. But he's like,
he's also knows for a fact he could kill this guy if he wanted to or some shit, like, you know.
Yeah. And we knew we could beat his ass, but like again, we're old.
No one's trying to do that. That's like the dumbest shit. Yeah.
For me, it's like I'm not gonna try to threaten or I'm gonna try to diffuse the situation. If you put your hands on me at that point, it's self-defense. Whatever happens afterward. But we weren't trying to fight. He of course walks away because he wasn't really trying to do shit. I think he was just trying to flex for his girl. And then in the corner of my eye, I saw him still yelling at her like 10 minutes later.
Oh my God. And you just asked like, hey, what are you drinking?
Yeah, some shit like that.
Yeah.
And but it ended like very quickly. I think he was just waiting. Like he just
someone talk to her. I need to have
right. But yeah, we kicked it for a little more after that. And then we're like, that's probably like a sign to just leave this place. And then went home, got some food. And I think after a couple hours, you had messaged me about Vultures, and I was like, I need to save this for the morning.
Yeah, I can't do this right now. Oh, dude, that's dope. So this is all in downtown San Jose?
Yeah, downtown San Jose.
Which is like on a scale wise, like how big are we talking here? Are we talking a couple blocks? Is this like a pretty well populated area? Like I'd never like just give the listeners a concept of this.
Yeah, it's pretty well populated. The only like frame of reference I have is like certain spots in LA. I would say it's similar to downtown LA in the sense that there's a lot of areas there's a lot of blocks and various bars and restaurants that you could navigate around. I don't want to misrepresent how big it is, but I'd say probably a couple miles worth of different venues and things that you could go to. But the area I typically visit is like you could get around all of it within 15 minutes. Like if you were to walk around and try to go.
Okay. That's what I'm trying to understand. Like if it's like a section. Or are we talking like Manhattan, where it's going to take you fucking 24 hours to walk up and down? You know what I mean? Like,
you could walk around all of it within 20 minutes if you want.
Which is dope, though, because if you're trying to go out, like, you know, hey, either if we can't have a good time here, we're not going to have a good time anywhere, right? Because I think like the issue with like New York is like, well, let's go here. And it's like, bro, I'm not trying to be in a cab for hours. Like,
right.
Like, if this ain't it, let's just leave, bro, go home. But like, that's cool. Because I feel like that was... When I lived in Charlotte, North Carolina, like that was the dope thing. Like, all right, bro, we're going to go to these two strips and we're going to hit every bar and club you want to be at is already there. So if it's not good, then you can just leave because it is what. But if it's good, then you're going to be there and like you're not going to have any FOMO because everything good is on that block.
Right. And that's why I always go there. And it is dope because it's a variety of scenes. So it's not like it's just straight up only hip hop bars with the same type of crowd. Like, you can get your fix regardless.
Nice, dude. Well, I'm happy for you, bro. Looks like we both had some good weekends. But a lot of pickleball for your boy. So that's been a lot of fun, bro. I think this might be my new obsession. Like I've done my very best to like only buy a few things as far as like apparel, because I'm like, all right, bro, this can't be a massive expense. And then I'm like, I don't even know if I like this like in 2 weeks. But so far, bro, it's been like a lot of fun. Like I remember like judging like these old heads who would do that. And like, dude, when I mean old heads, this is like the first time I ever saw pickleball was like 75-year-olds playing this shit. And I'm just like, oh, bro, this is like when you get old and like you can't play tennis anymore. But now I'm like, bro, like I started tracking like my steps, like from like the hour and a half of playing. It's like 6,400 steps in like 45 minutes to an hour. I'm like, oh, bro, this is fire, bro. Because like, again, I'm glad you're enjoying the running part, but bro, for me, like the running now is like, it's getting boring. So like to force myself to go run like 6 miles on a random Wednesday, I'm like, dog. But if I could just run like 2 miles every other day to keep my stamina up, and then I can get the same cardio burn in like pickleball, I'm like, oh, bro, we're back in action, bro. Because I'm like, dog, if I have to run an average of 50 miles every single month for the rest of my life to like stay in shape, that sounds awful, dog. Like terrible. And then, dude, like I'm also just, I don't know how you like you do with like the Barry's workouts and stuff like that, but like me physically, bro, again, as a 35-year-old, like I know my body at this stage, I can't do like minimally impact workouts, like because they have like zero effect on me. You know, like some people can do like a workout that they're not sweating, but it's still like they can get results. Bro, I can't do that shit. My shit has to be me drenched, fucking an hour of running, an hour of lifting weight, 20 minutes of abs, 20 minutes of fucking stretching. And I'm like, bro, like if you have a normal 9 to 6 job, like this is impossible to keep up. So pickleball has been a nice little like flex and like, all right, I can do this and then still maintain like a healthy, active lifestyle. And it's also fun, bro, because I do it with Gina as well. So like we're finally like able to like work out together in a competitive way, and it's not like, you know, boring. So yeah, man, highly recommend. We got extra paddles, so if you guys ever come and visit, we'll definitely, I got courts right by the house for free, which is dope.
Nice. No, I'm down to try. I've been meaning to, especially because I play tennis. And I bought that gear, which I need to use more often with my wife. But
the tennis gear?
Yeah, tennis gear. So I'm like, I need to first like make use of that and get her into that. But no reason we can't do both. And I've
yeah, no reason you can't do both. You'll definitely there's transferable skills for sure, but the way the ball bounces off the strings compared to how it bounces off like the pickleball paddle, completely different, dog. Because like my boy Sam played tennis his entire life, and like he was struggling because it's just like it's just too different. It's just too different.
Right.
But that's our lives. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Episode 188 about to start. Episode 187 is up everywhere. So I feel like it's only right. Again, we were talking about Vultures II. I think it's been teased for a minute. I think they were saying at some point they were going to drop it, but it's only going to be available via like a certain website or some kind of subscription based thing. Like, I don't know, but I was more surprised they dropped it on a fucking Saturday morning, which is again, dope that they do whatever the fuck they want. But it also felt like there was no real press release behind this. So like, it was just nice to be like surprised in a positive way. Whereas sometimes I felt with these more recent albums, like they only promoted like a week before, and then it's just like, bro, this is what we were meant to get excited for, kind of a thing. Yeah. So like, I was actually happy with the rollout. But what were your thoughts? Did you get a chance to listen to the full album?
Yep, listen to the full album as I promised on this Saturday. So that it dropped on Friday night, was it, you said, or Saturday morning?
It dropped Friday night on the West Coast, so I don't think it was even available. It's like 6 a.m. on like on Saturday morning here.
Got it. Well, yeah, I listened to the full thing start to finish. Was pleasantly surprised by the drop as well as the way it sounded. I think we mention this pretty often, but I feel like good music within hip hop is pretty scarce. Let alone music that sounds different from all this stuff we've been accustomed to. And I think Kanye and Ty Dolla $ign, at least for me, proved that they're capable of just being a duo that can make really good music time and time again. So I just hope that they continue this little partnership that they have going on, because it sounded really good to me.
Sounded really good. I also am grateful that they delayed the release, so we didn't have like kind of what happened to Metro and Future, whereas like it's almost like it cannibalizes itself when they're two like back to back. Like I think we were able to enjoy Vultures 1. That, like you said, sounded so different to everything else. So we were like, oh, dude, what a refreshing piece of music. And then we waited like 4 months, and then we got this, and it's like, oh, bro, what a refreshing body of music, right? So yeah, bro, sounded amazing. Yeah, dude, just sounded amazing. I don't know. if it's better, but like I think you were telling me like in the text, like this is as close to a good sequel you can make when it comes to like an overall album for anyone, bro. Right? Like this is like if you're just comparing this to the first body of work they put out together, I mean, I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of people in the comments that say this is better, or I just know this is equally as good. Which was like the most refreshing part of it, because I was going into it, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you. I guess like this one either has to be blasting, or like you have to have your AirPods in. I had it on my car radio, or my car speaker is a better thing. And like the first couple of songs, I was like, I don't know, bro. Kanye seems to be lackluster here, and I thought Ty Dolla like saved him, right? But then I heard Field Trip properly, and I was like, oh, wait, let me go back, because this is clearly very good. But what were some of the standout moments for you?
Honestly, like from the get-go, I was impressed. Maybe I was just on a high from like the start of the weekend, and I was playing it on like the proper speakers in my living room. So it was a good way to start the morning. So I really liked Slide, and I think like 3 songs in, I'm like, oh my God. Like usually when I listen to an album, I'm at within 3 or 4 songs, I reach a point where I'm like, can we hurry this one up? Cause I'm not feeling it. But
yeah,
for this album, that wasn't really the case. And I think where I really lost my mind was Field Trip, which is the 3rd one. I think the production on that was just insane to me. And then it was followed up by Fried, which I know you really like, and I love it as well. And I think that like once those 2 songs began to play, then I was just super amazed with how well produced everything was.
Yeah, that's a great 100%, because that's like a pivotal moment in the like listening of this body of work, bro. Because like once you get into Field Trip, I think the production's insane in that. That's Don. Again, I know we were talking about this via text, but like that's Don Tolliver, right? On the hook.
Yeah. I didn't realize it till I looked online.
Okay, so it's Don Tolliver on the hook. Phenomenal production. Then you get a Kodak Black fucking 16, and then they sprinkle in Playboy Cardi as well. I'm just like, bro, this is like, I don't know. I'm not calling this the Avengers, but this is close to something, super fucking like MCU related, because that was phenomenal. I loved Fried. But like those songs back to back, honestly, I was at a point, bro, that I played Fried. No bullshit, bro. Like I never repeat songs on first go through to give it like its proper justice to, dude, I replayed that shit like 10 times in a row, bro. So at that point, everything from Isabella, which is track 5, to My Soul, so the next 11 songs, bro, he could have been mumbling all of it. I was already so satisfied with the album, bro. I'm like, everything after this is just a cherry on top. But then you get dope Future verses. You get a Lil Wayne feature, which is dope, because it makes you remember like Barry Bonds, like all those moments that like they. I was thinking about Lollipop remix. You know what I mean? Like you forget that these guys have been around forever, and like you don't get. It was like very nostalgic, but like in a cool way. So, bro, yeah, I thought it was dope. We were talking about this. What's that girl's name? His daughter's name, Northwest, yeah. With a random fucking feature again. I guess not random. I feel like he's gonna keep doing that, but it was just dope. So yeah, man, I really enjoyed it. And I mean, my heat of the week is probably obvious at this point to anyone listening and you. But man, I also, dude, 530 was a great fucking song, bro. Like, it's a very good song. So I don't know if this one, I think I'm leaning towards I enjoyed Vultures II more, because I think the content was more enjoyable in the sense that like it's not like a soon-to-be 50-year-old man constantly talking about how horny he is, right? And that's like a little refreshing, right? Because at some point you're like, man, I can't listen to this shit all the time, right? Like I want to have a good workout, I want to have a good pregame, cool, but like some of this content, it's like in dosages, whereas I think this album is way more replayable constantly because it's not the same context of like big titty bitches, horny. Like again, it's there, but like almost like it's there almost like any other rap album has it, as opposed to Vultures 1, where it's like the main character.
Yeah, that's a really good take. I think even for me, and as someone who feels desensitized to that kind of content, Vultures 1 still makes me at times feel a little sleazy.
Yeah, right.
Which is crazy because normally like lyrics don't bother me, but part of me is just kind of like, all right, this could be toned down a little bit, but this album, I agree, feels kind of independent from like all the controversy around his comments about Jews and his wife being like this sexual object he parades around everywhere. Feels like this they finally just followed up with like regular good fun hip hop and delivered it.
Dude, I was gonna the comment about the negativity around the Jews comment he made earlier, I think is another reason why they benefited from this album being delayed, be it whatever. Because apparently this album was ready to go months ago, right? What they were saying. Maybe not this version of it, but I also think there was a sense of like, hey, I feel comfortable posting a song of this today. Whereas maybe like 6 months ago, like the tension was a little bit too high. Like, am I going to offend my, Jewish brethren, by posting this, right? So I feel like it's just a safer time to be a Kanye West fan overall. I agree with you completely on that take as well. So what was your favorite song? Was it Field Trip?
It's tough to say. I think towards the end of the weekend, I was starting to like Fried more. I a lot of people did complain about the mixing, and I did notice some songs sounded kind of low. Like I think Fried was one of them where the vocals sounded kind of low, or maybe it was the beat or both. But uh I think overall, man, it's tough. I think I don't know. I might have to give it more time, but my gut right now says Field Trip.
Got it. And then just to that comment, according to what's your boy that we follow, bro? The music dropping tonight page that we follow. You know what I'm talking about?
What is dropping?
Yeah, what is dropping exactly? So he had a thing that he posted, I guess yesterday. Apple Music showed that like a few of those songs got remastered. So Field Trip, Fried was one of them. So again, that could be a whole other debate. Like, should they even do that? But I guess I don't know. Apparently, it helped because I think some people had similar complaints, not complaints, but like noticed that the vocals were off on certain tracks. I'm gonna go with Fried though, man. Fried, and it's surprising, dude, because the moment Fried starts, my initial reaction is like, "Oh, bro, like how lazy! You're just trying to make a Carnival Part 2 kind of a thing." And then the song goes in completely different direction. So like that was nice because again, it's like it felt nostalgic to the first time you heard Carnival, and like you're like, oh, this is so unique. And then they kind of brought that back, but then made it its own thing, which again is like the genius of like of Kanye.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I wouldn't be surprised if with time Fried becomes my favorite if it gets remastered. Because that was, I think for me, like the one thing I could tell was preventing me from liking it as much as Field Trip.
Yeah, but dude, so like was there a sense of like it just felt unfinished, or it just felt this was more like a little tweak that needed to like, hey, like this specific part of the instrumental just sounds too loud? Like what was it? Because obviously you have a better ear for this than the average listener.
I think the vocals, it didn't seem like they had a whole lot of breathing room. Like because I was listening into my headphones and Field Trip sounded clear and I could hear the bass and everything, but Field Trip or Fried just felt it felt like it wasn't full, and like the beat wasn't the volume was low, and then the vocals were kind of tough to hear. And it felt unfinished in that sense, which is odd to me because that one's clearly like an anthem similar to Carnival.
Yeah.
And I was just like, fuck, I want to like it, but it doesn't bump as much as I wanted to. Like, I listened to Spotify again today, and Fried I don't know if it's just my mind playing tricks on me, but Fried seems a lot louder now. So maybe
no, I mean it's not your mind, bro. Like it's like 7 songs he went in and touched up. Okay. Which is great. I feel like the only reason we allow him to get a pass for this is because he's the only one that keeps doing this.
Yeah.
Like, right. I mean, maybe they all do this shit now, like, because they can clearly just go in and just quickly like change it up. But yeah, I feel like he's the only one that always gets a pass for shit like this, where it's like, no, bro, like But I'm not mad at it, right? If we're gonna ended up like getting a better version of a song we already like, that's dope. But it's just interesting where you can essentially put a song out, see a reaction, and be like, all right, let me just fix that real quick. Here you go, try it again. It's like, bro, what? Like that's just like a weird. I mean, it's weird for us because again, I think we're used to the days you buy a CD and you get what you get. But it's kind of odd when he seems to be the artist that keeps doing this at all times when he drops the body work.
Yeah. I'm not too sure what the reason behind that is, if you're just eager to get it out, but which is weird because they clearly took time to work out the kinks or do whatever with the timing to release it later, but maybe they just heard it differently than us. But it seemed like people unanimously were saying this was trash, which is crazy to me. I never thought the album sounded trash at all, but I did agree
like the
that
sound quality
songs were low. Yeah, the quality.
Got it. So from your perspective overall, though, regardless of this version or the version that dropped on Saturday, what would you rate the album on a like A, B, C, D, F rating system?
A, B, C, D, F. I'd probably say like a solid A-. I'd say A-. So like I think on first listen, there was nothing I wanted to skip at all, which is super rare. So I think it's at bare minimum deserving of an A-. The minus just because there's probably a handful of songs I won't really care to revisit. Like they're cool on first listen, but I don't see myself necessarily wanting to listen to them all that often.
Yeah, that's a good point. I'm gonna use that same rating as well. I'm gonna go with A- because I think on first listen, I was highly entertained, which I wasn't expecting, to be perfectly honest. Like I was like, oh, it dropped. Cool. Like, let me just see what's going on. So I think the lack of expectations, like that's always a great place to be, bro, because like I also wasn't looking at comments online like, oh, like wait till you get to song 6, right? Like I just saw it on my own and I was like, oh, let me fucking check this out. But I would say, like, similar to Vultures 1 now, there are 2 or 3 songs you're like, all right, these are good songs, but like they're not going to be in any rotation for me, you know, like, so like you're going to just take those 5 but I think there are like 5 or 6 songs on this album that I thoroughly enjoy. Again, his bars at times, Kanye, you're like, all right, man, you sound like an old man rapping at times, but then like you understand like the bigger picture here, what he's produced, how it sounds. Ty Dolla $ign again getting more flowers, sounding amazing, bro. Even those remake of certain songs, like I can't think about it, like River, for example, like that was fire. I think there's another song that Ty Dolla $ign is singing. It might be My Soul or Sky City, one of them, but like it's like a remake of like a classic song, and like it's like I think anyone else that would sound corny to remake such a classic, but him doing it, it's like, oh, that's pretty cool. You know, like his spin on it with like his singing / hip hop flow that he always has. So yeah, I would go with A-. Probably on further listens, it might get up to A, but I think that's pretty high considering. Again, I don't know where we thought a Kanye West body of work would be, but I was starting to have doubts where, again, on Vultures 1, I wasn't like blown away. I enjoyed it. And then that weird part of him, like after the Kendrick and Drake beef where he like felt the need to, like, I was like, all right, bro, like, what are we, like, are we just gonna get rid of this guy because he's like, just like old, you know, like not like because he's old, but you're like that old, like the old uncle who doesn't get that, like, bro, this isn't for you. Like, go chill with your people and let the kids have fun type shit. Like I was getting like the ick from him a little bit in that way. So it's cool that, again, he was able to step away from that shit, not put himself in the mix anymore. And then 3 months later, we're like, all right, cool. I can enjoy this kind of Yeezy and Ty Dolla $ign music.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like the Drake Kendrick stuff kind of overshadowed everything he had going on. And then it seemed like he was alluding to retiring, at least through other sources, and was just continuing to, like, his wife. Is his wife, right? Or is it his girl?
I think it's his wife.
His wife, it seems to be the only thing bringing his name into the headlines lately, but I was pleasantly surprised that now, like, the music can be the focal point for him, because the antics can only last or be entertaining for so long before you're like, all right, man, like, you clearly just want attention.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, and it was just weird. Like it was just like, yeah, that beef stuff was weird. And I'm glad he had Future on it. I mean, I know he had that one line like "Go listen to Drake, bitch," but like it was just like whatever. And I think it's also cool that you can have Lil Wayne on this. And again, you're gonna have the thought for a second because it's just like normal human being. But at no point I'm like, oh, why is Lil Wayne on this album? He's supposed to be Drake's mentor. What the fuck? Like it was just like, no, bro, this is a fucking Kanye West album. Like, dude, if he wants you on the album, you're gonna be on the fucking album, regardless of who you may or may not have beef with. So
Right.
I think it all just flowed very nicely. And I think the biggest thing for me, nothing felt forced, which was cool. Like it wasn't like, oh, I gotta get a Cash Cobain beat because he's the hottest thing right now and like he needs to be on this album. It was like, if it doesn't make sense for like the overall sound they were going for, which is very specific, it didn't make the album, and that was dope.
That's a good point. Yeah, I feel like everyone nowadays is trying like the Cash Cobain beat trend and what have you, and it's not even music that sounds bad. It's just kind of too predictable. And again, if it sounds like everything else, I feel like the shelf life is a lot shorter. So I'm glad that they came out with this, and I hope there's a Vultures 3 of some sort. Assuming they can follow up and meet expectations, because to me this sounds really good and refreshing.
Good and refreshing. I think. Do you think it'd be tough? Because I don't know the release date, but Vultures 1 was still this year, right?
Yes. Yeah, definitely was.
Okay, so that's, I mean, dude, to drop 3 albums with like 15 plus songs in 1 calendar year seems like crazy, dog. Like that's like,
I don't think it'll happen.
Degenerate gambling. Like, all right, let's just try it again. Let's just try it again.
No, maybe like mid next year at best.
Yeah, but the idea of those two putting out more and more content together, big fan of. So,
Same.
Yeah, if you haven't yet, go check out Vultures 2. It's remastered for you to listen, so go enjoy that. Audio Theory is giving that an A-. But speaking of short shelf lives, our boy DJ Mustard dropped his album. We gave a review on episode 187, New Music Friday. Faith of a Mustard Seed is on pace to, I think, sell 18,000 copies week 1. And then I think the real reason we wanted to bring the conversation up to the pod was, I guess Mustard was tweeting that, what was it? The music industry and sales is a form of white supremacy, and Drake got the bots to work against him. Essentially, like not taking account. I think the right words you said was accountability for the album just not doing well in the public eye. So, what is your thoughts on this like whole situation right now?
That narrative bothers me, because when it's like the boy who cried wolf, like when that actually is a reason for someone's demise, then we never take it seriously. It's like if someone gets fired or whatever, or a cop beats them, or well, maybe not beats them, but handcuffs them and arrests them, they immediately say, oh, it's because I'm a black man and they're trying to take me down. It's like, dude, you fucking shot up like 3 cars. What do you mean?
You ran 45 lights in 30 different states.
Right. So that's what pisses me off in cases like this. There's just a lack of accountability. And I really like DJ Mustard, but as we discussed in our last episode, I think the biggest reason, or one of the biggest reasons for this flop at least, is that he's known for making club hits, and not only did he not really have a rollout for this, but I think for me at least, the biggest reason it didn't resonate with me and probably a lot of other people is he didn't come with the hits out of the 15 to 20 songs he had on there. I don't know the exact number, but I mean, there was just maybe 1 or 2 songs, like the Travis Scott one and maybe the Vince and Schoolboy Q, but regardless, those I don't think did particularly well, or at least not nearly as well as Not Like Us, which is like his biggest claim to fame right now. So for that reason, I just don't think people are interested in checking for it. Maybe outside of like the Cali demographic, like people want the hits from you specifically. It's not like Alchemist where like you have this cult hip hop purist fan base who's gonna listen no matter what. Like DJ Mustard's known for the hits, and if you don't have that, then why are people gonna check it out?
Dude, 100%. And I think this is I think it wouldn't be fair to say this is just a a laziness from him when it comes to the rollout, because I also think the laziness in the rollout is tied to the lack of quality content. And I think, again, this is just us, our assumption. I think there was too much of an assumption being made that the wave of Not Like Us was just going to propel everything he was going to do for like however long to like a certain level, bro. And like, I feel like you have to understand, like, he needs to understand in that camp, it's like, bro, we like Not Like Us because, yes, the production quality is insane, but it's also like, dude, that we also love Kendrick, right? Like, this is a Kendrick song, right? We get that you're in the video, we get that it's your beat, you know, Mustard on the beat, like that shit all sounds dope, but like, we're not checking that for you at all, right? So like, I think they're very much like a miscalculation from his part. Like, dude, the fact that he says, I didn't even need a rollout because I had Kendrick, blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, bro. Like, you're literally quoting your own, like, faults. Like, that's a terrible thing to do, because the assumption that people are just because you fuck with them or you fuck with this one person is now going to fuck with you. Bro, it usually doesn't work out that way, bro. Like, think about all those rap groups where it's, dude, think about Young Money, Cash Money. It's like fucking 20 people deep. Bro, you were fucking with Drake, Nicki Minaj, and maybe Tyga. But that's it, bro. Like, all those other people are gone. So, like, the idea that Mustard, again, I get it, bro. It was his beat, all that. But, dude, we were, like, that, if you were on Kendrick's side during those times, like, in those past 2 months, it's because you fucking rode with that guy regardless. And he finally gave you a fun song you can also cheer on. Bro, but that wasn't because of Mustard, bro. So I think is also like an over ego-ness, but also, bro, I think I think we mentioned this last week, bro. I feel like he had all those songs made and just like, all right, let me drop it now because my momentum's hot. Yeah, bro, those songs didn't deserve a fucking album, bro. If we're being perfectly honest, like, you could have gave us a little 3-4 song EP, give us a similar beat to Not Like Us or something to keep the energy going. But when you give us 17 tracks, one's a club song with Parking Lot, and the rest are just like ghetto gospel type shit that we don't really go to you for, right? None of this bad music, but we don't go to you for. And then you already have you're kind of isolating yourself from the rest of America when you have a certain type of LA artist back to back to back. It's like, bro, there's no mass appeal here, bro. So like, to blame the bots and Drake, it's like, no, bro, that's a blame yourself, bro. Like, you fucked this up. Like, you fucked up the bag, because there was a bag to be had here. But if you just would have pushed this album back or whatever, but it just felt like greediness got the best of him.
Yeah. I mean, and I don't even know if it's necessarily greediness, but he clearly was trying to capitalize on the moment, which makes sense, but just admit that it failed. Like, if it failed, like, that's part of business. And I feel like his sound was too niche for this to ever sell like 150K unless he had some mega hit that was similar to Not Like Us, or if you even put Not Like Us on there. Like, to me, that's the only way it would sell 100K. But if you're just recycling YG and like 2 other artists that people pretty much only listen to on the West Coast, like, what do you really expect? Like, people I assume aren't listening to Mustard all that much in Florida and New York and all these other places all that much, unless it is a Not Like Us or
the like other hits.
One of those, major like Ty Dolla $ign Kidding type songs. Yeah,
dude. It's also like, I think we've said, we obviously Metro was on the other side of the beef, so like during that time it was funny, like, yo, fuck Metro, go make some drums or whatever. But like, I think Metro Boomin does a great job because he'll just tie it to one other artist, right? So if I'm Metro, it's just me and him and Future, or him and 21 Savage, or even Nav. This shit is like, all right, cool. Like, there's kind of like a cohesiveness here. Let's try these songs, right? But like, for Mustard, when you're just getting like every song has a different artist, it's like, bro, you're just making beats. Like, okay, I get that, but there's no cohesiveness here, right? Like, even with a DJ Khaled album, we already know he doesn't produce this shit, right? So it's just, you're just checking it out to see all the Avenger names. But for a Mustard song, bro, like, you're giving me artists I've never even heard of from Compton. It's like, all right, bro, like, cool, but like, as far as an enjoyment purpose, I don't know, man. Like I just feel like there's a lot of missteps here that just don't make sense as into how you couldn't see this was going to be a flop.
Yeah. I don't know. I think there's like this element of, or there's like a balance between like healthy delusion and unhealthy delusion to where, you should have confidence in yourself and,
but there should also be a plan.
Exactly. Or at least like reevaluate why shit took place and don't blame bots and like or whatever's popular to blame, because Drake is the easiest thing to point the finger at these days. So it just makes you look crazy.
It does, bro. It does. Especially because, again, you were writing. I mean, I'm not saying that Not Like Us was the peak of his career, but it might be like maybe 2 or 3, right? Because I mean, I know Mustard has had moments, bro. So I don't want to put him in a box that he was only relevant for 2.5 months or whatever, 3-4 months. But I mean, that was close to his peak, bro. So like, I just feel like better moves could have been made by him in his camp. That is just like odd when you're like, bro, like you could have really made this like last longer. Where now it's just like, bro, like you hear a Mustard song coming up in the future, you're like, all right, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, but again, if you're a club DJ not playing club hits, I don't really know what else to fucking do for you, bro. Like
right. Especially because it's not like the lyricist. There's no other draw to the album unless you're just happen to be a huge fan of that like nostalgic West Coast Mustard sound or something. But the average person, especially now with the beef and everything else, like it has to be an undeniable hit. And the Travis Scott one was probably the closest thing, and that just wasn't catchy enough, I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, I know it does well on TikTok because there's a lot, like when I go to do sounds for us and the edits, like I know that one's popular, but it's not like on some like 17 million people have used this sound type shit either. Yeah. You know, so like, yeah, they took he fucked up, bro. It was just poor marketing planning. Like these things happen. But like you said, own that shit, bro. Don't fucking start blaming everything else as opposed to you assumed that you had the biggest hit of your career that was going to propel you into like back to where you were. And that just wasn't the case. So he took that out. But again, not a terrible album, but just, again, not what we go for when we go to Mustard. So I want to do a couple more before we get out of here. So ASAP dropped a song called Hijack on Friday. I heard it, bro. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't hear like I heard it in its entirety, but I didn't like listen, if that makes sense. So did you have a chance to like listen to that song? If so, what were your thoughts? And I think he also said he has an album's gonna be dropping before the year's over too.
Overall I liked it. I can't say I was blown away. I like the energy on it, and it sounds kind of reminiscent of his old style, like especially the production choice. So it makes me feel optimistic towards the album, but not so much. I'm not overly optimistic. Like it wasn't that kind of track for me, especially because the message on it was kind of predictable. He's just basically, like a lot of rappers, oh, niggas stole my style. I need it back. You're not really like me. Like it feels like he's kind of riding the coattail of all the shit that's been already going on for the past few months. Like sneak dissing Drake or whoever, Travis, like that's cool, but kind of already gotten that from him. Like we already know you got the baddest in the game and you're rich and you don't have to rap anymore and all this shit. But like, I just want him to make good music and not harp on that for 18 songs in a row. So that's my biggest hope. But I might have to hear a couple more songs before I, get super excited for the album. But overall, I'm just pleased that some of the greats that we haven't heard from in a long time are trying coming out and giving us long-awaited music.
Yeah, for sure. I think that was my biggest takeaway from like first listen. Was like there was nothing, I wasn't blown away by anything I was listening to, right? So it was just like, okay, whatever. He dropped a song, we'll see what happens. And I saw like the post of like he's dropping an album soon. I think for me at least, when it comes to Rocky, is that there's been enough like, I don't want to say disappointment, bro, but like albums, right? Like his last two albums, even though like they also were spaced out, so there's like a huge gap in between. Just like whatever, you know, like you're just like another guy. Even though like in my heart of heart, I'm like, dude, I feel like you should be like a top 5 rapper, bro, like at all times, and like that's just not the case. I think there just feels like there's like a blase with him that's like, I'll drop a song, whatever. This is easy to me. Like I don't need to do this, right? Whereas like his first album, dog, like Long Live 8, dog, it seems like every song had a meaning. Like, bro, every like part of the songs like made sense and like it was on purpose, bro. Like none of this shit right now that he puts out is like on purpose to me. Like it's just like, I'm gonna give you a song because like I want to give you a song and I'm a fly nigga, so like, you know, enjoy it.
Way to put it.
But like it's just like whatever, dog. Whereas like before it was like, yo, everything was so properly curated by him, it felt that like you're like, bro, if you love your shit this much, I gotta fucking appreciate this. Whereas now it's like, bro, like I don't even think you care, so why the fuck should I care?
Yeah, he's kind of reminds me of like well, I'll say Jack Harlow is like a white version of him, like these like heartthrob dudes who are like busy doing other shit and they just got this swagger, and out of like every 10-15 drops there's one that just sticks and everyone's fucking with it. But besides that, you're not like, they've moved on, like they've done everything they wanted to do and they have other ventures and shit. So that, I think that's why I'm not making sure to not be too optimistic about the album, but at least I think this track wasn't, you know, terrible or anything like that. So I'm not like, oh, this is going to be straight trash. Like I can't confidently say that quite yet.
Yeah, but I think it's also good for us, almost like to the Vultures II, that the expectations are very low right now, right? This isn't like him following up a flop where like, oh, that was just like a one-off. Yeah. Like, I feel like when you have back-to-back albums that people are like, bro, I don't know, and then you again, I know you were in the beef, but you weren't. But like, really, the majority of the beef talk that you were in were like people telling you like, bro, just stop fucking, like, shut up. You know, like you don't want this smoke from, you know, him. So like, I think this actually, it could be a good time for him to like reclaim, like, no, bro, like I do this, you know, like this is what I do as well, and I also do the fashion shit, blah blah blah. Because yeah, like it's. Bro, in a weird way, bro, like in the last like 3 or 4 years, he's just like a super fly, like hip hop influencer, dog. Like that's all he is. Cause like, again, I don't really think any of us are like truly checking for his new stuff. And then we're so far removed from his old stuff that's like, bro, I'm not trying to listen to a whole A$AP Rocky album right now either, like from back in the day. So like, yeah, he's like in this weird spot, but I do think expectations are so low right now that he can reclaim it by just putting out a decent body of work.
Yeah, he is one of the more curious cases because like he definitely doesn't, he's still part of the new school, but
barely.
Yeah, barely. But it's like he's new school enough to where you're like, you should have been dropping more recently, especially if you like are kind of hinting that you want to be part of the conversation and people stole your flow and this and that. Like I just hope this beef and everything else that's been going on has been inspirational enough to him to where he's putting in the effort, and this isn't just some egotistical like, oh, I have to respond with some music, otherwise, you know, Drake wins.
Yeah. If I drop a pair of shoes, they're like, see, we told you. I mean, like,
right.
Yeah, I think it'll be good though. I have not high hopes, but I think there's I can't see my man dropping like 3 bad albums in a row. Like I have faith that he's a better artist than that. Because I do get it when I think of him, bro. Like I think of like true artistry, even though the last like recency of his music, like it's not there. I'm like, bro, but I also feel like you just can't lose that shit, bro. Like either you do or don't. Like you don't just, you know, get lucky with an album like Long Live ASAP. Like there's no fucking way, bro. That's too much artistry to come out as someone for them to just like lose that, So maybe you'll never top that again, but that's still in you in some way, bro. So like I have faith that this will do something for us at least.
I mean, he actually had a really good feature now that I think about it on the Kid Cudi Wow song. Like that felt very refreshing, and it didn't seem like he had, lost a beat with that one or lost his touch.
Yeah, dude, but that's on some like Jay-Z, Nas math, where it's like one good hit every 10 year. Like that's not that ratio is fucked still, bro. Like,
right. But I'm like, I just wish these artists, I mean, obviously it's subjective, but I wish these artists would see how simple it could be to make good music. Like if he can do this on the Kid Cudi song, then try to replicate that for yourself. But I get like it's different when you're making something for someone else's art, or if you're just in a different headspace. But sometimes I'm like, it could be so easy if you just did these 4 or 5 things.
Yeah, for sure. And it's weird because I feel like we're also at a time where, man, dude, like, so who do you think's an artist right now that like we actually get excited about when we see they have a feature on a song? Right? Because I feel like he was in that realm. We're like, oh shit, you got a Rocky feature? Let's like, what is he gonna say? Now I'm just like, whatever, But like, who are there still any artists that we actually get like besides like Jay-Z, right? But like, is there any artist right now that you're like, oh wow, he gave that person a feature? Like, is there anyone right now that's like a cheat code?
A cheat code feature?
Or like not even cheat code, like stop what you're doing, you got to go hear the feature, right? Because obviously people drop an album, you'll hear them, but like, oh, this dude had a feature on that song, I gotta go listen to that shit like immediately. Is there anyone right now?
Probably like a G-Eazy.
Stop.
I'm kidding. Obviously. No, I feel like, I mean, that it was like Drake, Jay-Z, and J. Cole, but like that, I feel like their stimulus package or whatever you want to call it, like cheat code, is no longer the cheat code it used to be, where like the world stopped and that artist, had infinite money ever since that moment. Like nowadays,
it's Drake. It's gonna take a while for Drake to get that, if he ever gets it back, bro. I feel like I have full faith that Drake is still gonna be top 1 or 2 forever, but I have more doubts of ever him being that guy who gives you a feature and then your career changes. I think those days might be over.
Yeah, I think so. Especially because the Camila Cabello is a good case study, and her shit was abysmal and flopped.
Yeah.
Even if it's like a good song. And I think Drake did well on it. So it wasn't even like he didn't perform, and that's why. I think it's just like over time, people just aren't impressed with a fucking 30-year run from one person.
Yeah. Dude, I feel like, is it Offset, bro? Like, or do people get excited about an Offset feature?
I do, but I don't think it's a cheat code.
I don't think it's a cheat code either. Is it Kodak?
But I feel like cheat code is like, I mean, like, how would you define it? Like the world stops, or that artist, has like a new, like their career elevates to a completely new height?
I would say it's hard for those things to happen right now. So honestly, I don't think anyone is doing that for anyone right now, to be perfectly honest. I would say that niggas who listen to music are going to stop what they're doing to go peep that feature.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's definitely one of the newer guys then, if that's the case. Kodak's not a bad,
I mean, honestly, bro, like, and
contender.
I'm not saying I'm not a big fan, but dude, it might be Cardi as well.
Yeah, Cardi. I think it has to be Cardi. He's like forever the only one that these streamers and kids and whoever lose their minds over, especially when he's not even giving a full verse. He could sneeze on a song and people somehow recognize it and lose their minds.
Yeah, I think, dude, honestly, I think it's him.
Yeah,
because he's also way more mainstream shit than Kodak. I think Kodak might be a close second because what he did on Kendrick's album was just so impressive. But
it's just the elusive, like, you have to, the problem with Drake, and the reason why I don't think his cheat code works anymore, is he's always so present. Like Cardi's hiding in a fucking cave and then comes out of nowhere. And
the supply and demand of it. It's just like, Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, I think it has to be him, bro, because I don't think anyone else is really moving the needle. Like, I think a few people had like a random Nas feature, and we're like, all right, bro, like, cool, like, good for you. I'm glad you got that off like your bucket list. You have a song with Nas, but like that didn't do anything for me. So, yeah, shout out to Playboy Cardi then for being the current feature king, dude. French Montana had that run, but then again, I think he became too available. And then he started dropping albums as if we were looking for him. And it's like, no, bro, we only want features from you. Like, I think, again, people just don't realize like what, or the ego doesn't let them like decipher like what's actually working for their career and what's not. So, all right, bro, there's a couple things here, but I actually think it might make sense to save it for next week, because I also want to do an episode where we don't have a full topic on Drake. So,
yeah. Sounds good.
Yeah, big fan of that. Is there any one topic here that you want to bring up before we go to Heat of the Week?
Not in particular.
Okay, cool. So let's save a couple of these then for next week. And I think that actually would be a good way to, keep certain conversations going that don't have to be mainstream. So, all right, episode 188 almost in the books. But before we get out of here, let's do some Heat of the Week. My guy, what is your Heat of the Weekend?
My Heat of the Week, I would have to say Vultures II, just as an album.
Nice.
Just pleasantly surprised and impressed. As I mentioned, production was amazing. It's exactly what I would have wanted from the album if I had known it was for sure coming this weekend. And if I had to choose a particular song, the one that blew my mind and made me really keen on listening to the rest of it was Once I Got to Field Trip. And production on it is amazing. I'm a sucker for 808s, and I just thought it was also cool to hear Don Toliver kind of change up his voice a bit. So yeah, Vultures II, flat out, great album.
Dude. He might be a fucking cheat code in the coming months. Like, he's not too far off, bro, because again, the way his flow on that song, like, bro, took it to a level that I'd even. Again, the first two songs wouldn't make you think that this album was going to a certain level, and like that immediately when you hear his song, bro. There's a lot of songs, bro, like you need to like get the lyrics out because you don't even know what the fuck he's saying. Yeah. But it just sounds so smooth. So yeah, that's a good one. I mean, I'm gonna go with the same. So you went with Field Trip. I'll go with Fried. I mean, dude, Fried. Again, it's just such a fire song, bro. Like all aspects of it. The high pitch in their voice when they say they're fried. Bro, again, it's a pregame song, bro. I was working out and I was like, you cannot stop bopping my head between sets. Like, bro, just a great anthem, concert, arena type shit. So I would, if they go on tour for this one, I think this is one that I'm gonna have to go pay and see, because there's just too many. Between the two albums now, there's enough bangers here that this could be just like an hour of just nonstop like mayhem in the best way.
Yep. Yeah, I think I saw they announced a couple spots. 2 of them are in Asia, so definitely.
Yeah, the Korea one that's like a 69,000 stadium. I'm like, Jesus, bro, like how big is your fan base there?
I know, shit. And then Seattle, I think, was another one, but yeah, hopefully they announce more dates, because that's something I for sure would want to see. Even though I can't
imagine Kanye not coming to Miami. So yeah, I think I'll be good. So yeah, maybe that's when we can plan if they're not coming anywhere near you. But all right, bro. Episode 188 in the books. Let the people know what we got going on. Let's get out of here.
Yes, sir. Catch us at audio-theory.com. New episode every week on all platforms. We also have the Heat of the Week and Apple Music playlists on the site, so be sure to check that out for the Heat of the Week selections. And if you're on YouTube, check down below. We got merch. Merch is also on the website if you're listening on other platforms. But in the meantime, please like, subscribe, share, comment, do what you can to support the channel.
Yeah, keep commenting. We really appreciate the engagement on all platforms. It's definitely helping. So appreciate you guys. Appreciate you, my dude. Love you. Be safe.
Likewise. Love you too.
We'll talk. Peace.
Peace.